will they be banning out
here? The coaches now help.
And especially now with Team Impulse. Strategy is going to have to be pretty clean. NRG showed a lot of versatility last week, but Team Impulse has been doing some pretty clever drafts considering they've had this rotating roster of so many different players. And there are, honestly, once again, very low expectations for Team Impulse with Fang coming back in the top lane here since his early debut in the LCS was very lackluster. Seraph comes in, looks great. And now Fang is back, so he's going to want to fill the shoes of a substitute, which is kind of strange to say, but that's the situation we're in.
Yep. Also looking at MASH and Gate now on your screen there. After last week's game, MASH tweeted out, "It's finally good to get a game in with Gate on the stage." Which is like, oh, really? You guys played amazing. Obviously, they've been practicing together, but they haven't had too much time to do that. So it was good that they showed strong. Like you said, Fang coming back, they're going to need all that power they can get. Bans finished out. Jana, last ban on this one. Impact is going to be picking up Corky, most likely for GBM.
Lock in those power marksmen, power picks.
Wow.
Corky's something NRG has played in the bottom lane, but I definitely feel that mid lane is its most dominant role, especially recently in the LCK. It's either been banned or picked extremely early and thrown mid lane most of the time. So unless there's a really good reason not to, I think GBM would be playing that in the mid lane. But you never know. NRG can fly by their own style as they're hovering some straight stuff. Kindred's enabled this week, by the way.
Hey.
Possible jungler.
It's back. Are you gonna do it again? Blind pick this time, possibly? Why not? Definitely played it extremely well in their shutout versus Team Solo Mid.
Yeah, Proxen as well. With the Nidalee means that the Graves is probably going in a lane here, whether it's top or bottom lane. You can do 80 carry Graves bottom lane, but if you're doing that, you're probably doing a top lane, so you're going to need to be able to pick some good ganker and gank assistance on NRG's side, since Graves is almost always shoved in when he goes top lane.
Theodore. That was Theodore. Sorry.
Who was Theodore? What?
Twitch could be the pickup here. MASH loves the Twitch. I remember back in LCS, MASH would say, "I'm probably one of the best Twitches."
Yeah, he would pick Twitch every game back in 2013 when it was available.
He would.
Those were different times. Much different times. Pokecomp coming in pretty strong here if they go with that Caitlyn, which wouldn't be a bad idea.
Morg Kate.
Yeah, and this Morg could even go mid if they really wanted it to.
Morg Monkey.
Heck? Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Are we going to see the Kog'Maw?
He hovered this last time.
He should do it.
I don't know if he's going to pick it. You might just go with like a Lucian.
I really want to see Kog'Maw someday. I think Kog'Maw will make an emergence somewhere. His late game is just too silly not to. But the game itself progresses too quickly for Kog'Maw most of the time. His laning phase is really bad.
So we see that top lane Graves now. Ezreal getting picked up for MASH. More poke in that composition. Anything they can add now, you see.
Yeah, so at this point, either NRG needs to bring a lot of healing or just really, really hard engage. Lysandra is available against a Black Shield. It's sometimes tricky, but that can only, especially if it's support, it's not a very powerful Black Shield. NRG is going to have to be careful they don't have no answers for this. Strong team fighting or a good flanker, or even a good split pusher could do some wonders here.
Might just pick himself Ahri. Maybe just get Victor in there to play it safe with the team. We've seen GBM on that quite a bit. You might just look for comfort here. What will be the picks? 8 seconds left here for NRG.
We have a lot of options because they could still put Corky down bottom lane and pick a more engage-heavy mid laner. And boy, did they pick some engage right there.
Forgot about the Malphite, too.
Malphite and the Blanc. Okay. I like that. I like the fact that they had a really good reason to move Corky out of the mid lane into the fact that they needed some more dive within their team composition to go against all the squishy range damage dealers. And LeBlanc will have a lot of combo potential.
This also
on Tip here.
Seems like a bit of homework. Tip still going for that poke comp, even though Corky was that first pick from NRG. Also, now we're seeing, which was a very good pickup because it would fit Tip's composition amazingly at this point. And what will the final pick be? We do have the Donger Dogs outside if you want to get one. They're delicious. But it will be the Lysandra. called it for NRG, but it goes to the tip side as they choose to get the claw in their hands.
Yeah, that seems like very much just a lane pick. He wants to be able to kill he wants to be able to ult LeBlanc every time LeBlanc comes in to try and assassinate the AD carries and then have them blow him up. So it's to contain GBM's flanking as much as possible. Overall, though, normally for NRG's team composition, you'd think they'd have way too much magic damage because they have Malphite, LeBlanc, and then an AD carry who does about 80% magic damage. But Team Impulse doesn't really have champions who can build magic resist very easily. So it's actually not that big of an issue in this configuration.
Very interesting compositions. See where Pyrian goes with this one. Varus, Lulu, Varus for him. So Lissandra will be a bit of a change. See how he plays it up against GBM. Now on LeBlanc. We've actually seen him in quite a bit of Victor and Varus. So this will be his first LeBlanc game of the spring split. I don't put anything by him now with the last Zillion pick. You can bring anything out. Anything.
GBM has also been playing very well all year. He's topping the charts in damage per minute for everyone in the North American LCS thus far. And that's with things like Zillion that bring more utility. So really stepping up. See what he can do on the block.
Making sure he gets the damage in. One last time today, everybody. You know what to do. Head over to Twitter. Let us know who is going to be victorious. Tweet hashtag NRG win or hashtag TIP win to @LOL eSports. We will update that poll in game as always and show you some mastery keystones and inventories and gold. And
every jungler today has gone Strength of Ages. So no more of that Thunderlord stuff. It's always just getting that free 300 health. I am a fan. I've been using Strength of Ages quite a while.
Free is a good thing. It's technically not free because you have to put
pay for it.
points.
Pay for it with your mastery.
Yeah, you have to put points in.
And 30 large monsters or siege minions over time. But as a jungler, that actually gets there very quickly.
It takes your time. Time. Left click, right click. Call. Call for Altec.
Oh boy. So it's been
also getting Dark Seal in mid.
What?
Let's do this. Last game of the day. Let's add some flavor.
We were thinking like, hey, do we want to talk about the Dark Seal change? Because we did a patch preview type.
Right, a little bit.
Little
chat.
And we're saying, do we want to talk about Dark Seal? We're like, nah, no one's going to build that. But apparently, we do have a Dark Seal user.
Dirty Dark Seal users.
I mean, he's looking to snowball this game and go into a Soul Stealer. Stack up the glory on kills or assists early on with the Dark Seal. And he gets 25% more healing from potions. So that's good. Wow, I did not expect to see that on today. Or the Cull, for that matter.
We actually saw the ring a few times during All-Stars when people were chugging potions on AP mid laners. Trying to get a little advantage there. But you're right, we have not seen it within the competitive play as of yet. So lane swap to start things off on this game. Definitely going to keep an eye on the call stacks for Corki on Altec and GBM here, trying to go for this Soul Stealer.
Just so everyone knows, since they haven't really seen Cull much in competitive play, killing a lane minion gets 1 additional gold, and then once you have 100 lane minions, you get 350 bonus gold, and then no longer get the extra stuff. And it's 7 attack damage and 3 life on hit, which makes it worse than Doran's Blade, since Doran's Blade gives the health, the 8 attack damage, and then 3% lifesteal. So it's a scaling trade-off you make when you go for the Cull.
Kind of says I won't be killing anybody in the beginning, but if it happens,
if you're just doing lane swaps and you're not actually fighting, you can totally do it. Hey, still Strength of Ages, but a lot of Thunderlords this game.
Yep, more Thunderlords there. A few of the games have been quite a smorgasbord of Heat Mastery stones, but you see the champions in this one tend a bit more towards those Thunderlords. So clear early word and Raptor buff taken away there. Seeing a little bit of pressure from Conquan. He's very active back and forth. Also active with pink wards. Conquan loves his pink wards. Most plays so far of anybody in the league.
Yeah, by a pretty wide margin. If you look at the amount of pink wards placed by supports in the North American LCS, this obviously varies sometimes by game time and whether you're winning or not and where you're moving your
Game
wards.
time is a big factor there.
Because a lot of times, if you place a pink ward down, you're only going to place another one as soon as it's killed. So it has a lot of different factors, but it's way higher. Something like 10 pink wards per game. He's played 5 games and placed over 80 pink wards. So it's like 13 or 14 pink wards per game. Whereas other supports, like Adrian, for instance, had 27 pink wards through 6 games. So very big discrepancy. And we'll kind of track how many pink wards Conquan throws down on Bart here.
Huge difference. The change this season, like all supports, that's a huge smile on their face. 75 gold, you should always have one. They're so cheap now.
Pick wards are basically half price compared to the type of value they give you on the map. And since you can't purchase wards that aren't from a Sightstone, really, I'm expecting those numbers to actually go up as the season progresses even. Because
it actually doesn't feel as bad to move it around either, which causes you to buy more and want to keep moving it up. Hello. A little too close to the turret. Pyrion makes it out with a claw.
Yeah, I've actually been tracking some of the other supports on it, like Gorilla, for instance, over on the Rocks Tigers, formerly the Crew Tigers in Korea. He had one game where he bought 18 pink wards. Every time he go back to base, he'd buy 1 or 2. And it's that valuable. You really need the vision control for your team.
So at that point, is backing 18 times efficient? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you can buy 2. You can hold 2 at once.
No, that's true. 9 times. There you go. We got math going. Oh, Proxen Flash. He should still be okay once he reaches the brush here, but he may be deterred on a few of his ganks if he can't get the range in that he would like. Gate, this Morgana just back and forth with impact, giving Mash a bit easier time on his farm, but he's not having trouble in the first place. 32 to 24. Those stacks for Alltech. Not going as fast as he'd like.
No. A little bit of lane swapping back and forth, but it looks like he set up a freeze in the bottom lane after this swap, whereas on the other side of the map for Team Impulse, the wave is pushing, and Impact is set up to catch that. So basically, if this holds in this configuration for a while, NRG will be getting a pretty big farm advantage. It's all on Team Impulse now to make this minion and pressure advantage count. That's why Fang has come over here with the Graves and the big minion wave, and they're going to look to make a difference. But it's up against 3 people, so I really don't think they can dive.
More than happy to hang back. They know Alltech's getting everything he wants in the bottom lane. Top lane should be able to stave this off for now. Not a huge amount of wave clear, but they are able to put enough bodies there to make it not look good.
There's enough spray damage here on the minions, though, that a lot of the CS will actually be lost. So still a pretty good pressure 3v3 right there, especially with Graves when you're trying to farm on a turret. He just rips you to shreds because he can throw his Q into the turret and pop back. And they're actually, this is the play. There is a freezing 80 carry in the bottom lane. Team Impulse does not want NRG to be able to hold this turret, even if they send 3 people up here.
Usually we see this on either side, never face to face. That's going to be a tank up. That's hit down. We see Impact fall quickly. Fang very low. He does get taken down. That's a shutdown going in for Conquan. And back and forth, they're trying to get the right people to tank. They do so, and they take down the 3 members of NRG. What a chaotic first dive.
And how is that for some aggression? Team Impulse keeps saying they want people to give them more respect. Well, right there, they were demanding the respect. We have 4 people up here. You better back away. And they get a pretty nice converted kill right there. 3 of them under turret, only losing 1.
Looking at summoner spells as well. Like 3 for each side on that one, but Impulse able to get back with some core items here. Swifties right away for Fang with that serrated Dirk. He's going to be able to start doing more damage in lane. Let's see this one more time because it was so messy. I couldn't even tell who had aggro at first and then got aggro.
Yeah, love the call here because NRG actually has very poor wave clear as well. So as they're fighting, the minions are contributing to this fight as well. Almost somewhat counteracting the turret. But anyway, Fang gets good shots in, has to reload as he's running away, does get ticked by the final turret. But at that point, the damage was done. The total levels of Team Impulse was very high. Good bindings from Gate on the backside of the fight. And Malphite is just so weak early on in the game. You can kind of disrespect him with that dive, and unless Bard isn't landing his Q, he hasn't been running around collecting meeps or anything, so he doesn't have super strong
up in that top lane.
Auto attacks early. It's a smart dive there, and it perfectly punishes Alltech for trying to freeze that wave with Call.
He had a lot of time down there. Hopefully Alltech can now put some pressure on the other side of the map, but by himself, he may not be able to do too much. Looking again at that kill, the 2-kill gold of Fang went to Conquan as well, so not a huge burst for anybody there. He'll have a sight stone and maybe some early vision. It's not going to be as good as going on to the 80 carry. So Impulse back to their side of the jungle. We see this lane swap go back in favor as well of Impulse with this damage now being brought up onto Mash.
Yeah, they just traded spots here. Alltech decided to break the freeze. He's 28 shots from finishing his Cull, or he might get a nice little power spike. So still, Alltech, it's not like Alltech individually was punished. His team was punished for his farm. So he will still be stronger. It's just now the Team Impulse capitalized on that to make their top laners stronger. Feng will be powerful and Alltech will be powerful.
Those are kind of my favorite type of plays, is you know they're coming, there's vision everywhere, and it's up to the mechanics and up to how you're playing at that moment to get it to go. There was almost no prep. Both teams were aware of everything that was going to happen. It's really great to see those fights. The communication is definitely something you can pull out of it.
NRG was just hoping that the dive wouldn't work. They were thinking they could outplay it.
Oh, we're okay.
Yeah, a bunch of squishy, so to speak, range people aren't your prototypical turret divers. But Graves taking the initial turret shots is actually that. He gets so much armor and MR from his quick draw. He took a few hits, wanted to get close, and he kind of acted as the tank during the turret dive. So even though he died, that was the best execution, the best person to be taking the turret hits at the start.
Saw a little bit of love for Pyrian in the mid lane. Still 79 to 69 here over GBM with that early aggression from Moon.
Yeah. And, I mean, his lane opponent started with a Dark Seal instead of a Doran's Ring. So it's a disrespectful move to start with the Dark Seal. Pyrian, not falling prey to the GBN brand name and taking some aggression down, getting that to Crystal Scepter.
It is a way to put it. He has his own style, GBN. See, NRG looks like they will rotate towards the top side here, and it could be a very dead Fang in a few seconds. I don't think he has enough vision to let himself know.
Where's the package going to go? Just right over the top.
Oh, that ward sees. Oh, he sees one. He's I am taking the diagonal route out right.
Oh! Well, they got him.
He gets the package, and it's going to be Fang going down. Impact comes in with the ultimate as well for a surefire kill. That's going to be damage on the top second-tier turret. This is going to press down the bot lane now. True Shot Barrage just came out of MASH, and he's trying to hard push this. He'll have the heal from Proxen for a little bit of damage attack speed upgrade, I should say, which will help him for more damage. But this should go in NRG's favor.
This is not clearable.
It already is in NRG's favor.
But they are respecting the quick respawn timers of Fang and the fact that when Graves get there, he can do it. Still a quality dive executed there from NRG. Fang was suspicious, but actually didn't know where anyone was and was thinking he could just dash away, but his dash got actually interrupted by the knockback from the package, completely sealing his fate. He probably thought he could hold there because of Graves' exceptional wave clear, but he was just totally outnumbered.
Take it.
Come on, man.
He got it.
There he goes.
He's flying on the mini-map. So, see, NRG now to reset. Very, very close game still. Only 500 gold, and NRG seems to be getting what they want out of everything they've pressured so far. Impulse's early game moves on all the turrets are really what's keeping them in this. Now teams start to fizzle out in the action they really want to perform. Here come the wards. Looks like it's going to be Rift Herald for Impulse.
Yeah, this is just something caught in the fray of the back and forth. They were rotating over to get to that inner turret anyway, so almost a no-cost Rift Herald. Earlier, when Rift Herald was doing more damage, it kind of had to back right after taking it. Here, Proxen should be able to heal up a little bit afterwards, and they can now use those empowered minions to try and push the Malphite. This is actually the ideal use of a Rift Herald against someone with low wave clear because the minions don't get any tankiness, but unless there's a rotation really quickly by NRG here, Tip would be able to take another turret.
Oh, they have the wall to use. Bard actually really helps them there to get a bit of distance. And they're going to be good to go. They should get here in time. Impact ultimate is up, but it doesn't look like they want to engage with what's happening in the mid lane, and they're happy because you got Altec in the bot lane right now adding a ton of pressure.
Yeah, Altec finished his call, got that extra gold, so he's going to be building up towards Trinity Force more quickly. It's actually a 600 gold lead over MASH if you're trying to do that comparison. And I'm really interested to see, as this game evolves, how much of these pushes are going to be split pushes and how many of them are going to erupt into full-on team fights, because there will be a big onus on NRG to engage immediately onto them once Nidalee and Ezreal and even Graves start poking pretty hard. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, to see how the Lissandra can counter the LeBlanc and how impactful Impact can be.
To avoid starting these fights with a little bit of health, that wasn't a whole lot.
Yeah, well, he wants to bind him.
There's one. The binding and the cosmic binding. Looks like that one just fizzles out right quick. Swifties, 2 members of Tip here. They're moving pretty quick around the map, able to get their rotations in. Now they're starting to gather together, so that has a bit more of an impact. But that's what I'm looking at right now as well. That teleport is up. We see Impact pushing the top lane. Right now he doesn't really have a spot to teleport behind Impulse, so they're safe, but they still have to watch for that. He's going to start moving down now.
Teleport advantage would play a bigger role if Impact was in a lane that had anything of value. They've already cleared out the turrets in that lane, and I don't expect a Malphite to be able to push an inhibitor turret with no wards in the jungle. So that's mainly just up there to catch the stray wave. I think we're going to have to wait until Team Impulse pushes up that mid lane. But now that Altec is over here on Corki, that is the appropriate wave clear, and it makes it really difficult to set up the siege if you're Team Impulse.
Coming out of base, still, this is such a, not a fast-moving game, but it feels like we are quite far into it. You still have another 6 minutes before we even have home guards out of the base here. Things are still going quite slow. 4 items are being built up on both sides now.
Whoops.
CS quite close in the lane, and whoops indeed.
What is that intentional, is the question.
Makes it away with blue.
Yeah. I mean, this is their Korean duo, so I'd imagine it was not intentional. I was having this discussion earlier about how North America, especially in solo queue, the junglers are way more likely to take blue buff, whereas in Korea, that's just not the case. So you'd expect Proxen to give it over to Pyrian, and the fact that he was over there, you'd want him. But he also leapt on it right as it was very low, so you question the motivations of Proxen's Nidalee here. He's like, man, you're full mana on Lissandra. You get a free spell every once in a while. You probably don't need it, right?
Yeah. The spears are going to be way more worth if they hit than claws.
It's like, don't worry, I can heal you if you give me blue.
Boom.
It's fine.
There you go. You've convinced me now. Yeah. Are you a Korean jungler?
Nidalee always needs blue buff. That's what I've learned.
You're just a jungler.
He just healed him. Look at that. The value of the blue.
Are you inside their mind? Very close to it. Where are we going? Void Rush from Moon. Puts himself towards the Dragon Pit, and it looks like we're going to have some Ward Wars here. I don't really think that Dragon is anything that NRG wants against the Poke team, because that's exactly what you start eating over and over again. That's a bit of an ouchie. Conquan out, he will heal. And Impulse is just ferociously warding right now. They're not even fighting.
Yeah.
They just want to get some wards in.
Well, the Poke, when you're doing Ward Wars like this as well, it's very easy to get in. But Proxen's got to be super careful of LeBlanc, and that was with the Null Magic Mantle. Proxen is building towards an Abyssal Scepter, so you can really see level 11 LeBlanc right now. With that rank 2 in the Mimic. That's a real punch.
Has a stinger. Let's see what the summoners are. So Cleanse to Ignite in mid. GBM can try to make some impact plays there if he wants to get in quickly. Impulse, rightfully so, taking control of the Baron area. Gate constantly being chunked out over and over again, along with Proxen.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned the teleport advantage probably wouldn't matter because the Malphite wouldn't take an inhibitor turret. Well, he's actually in position to do so now, and it doesn't matter if they don't have deep wards because Team Impulse is all shown down at the Dragon Pit, and they're pushed off, but the teleport's coming in.
Oh, a quick hop and a dance coming in from Impulse, and that separates the team completely. It almost worked like the Gragas ultimate. Altec with a package over the wall. They're on to Mash. He's going to get exploded. Fang actually comes in. Gate is dancing around. He's like, you can't see me. Don't look, I'm not going to die. But he will finally go down. That's going to be the kill coming in from Impact, and NRG just runs over Tip in their jungle.
Yeah, solid fight right there from NRG. They executed exactly on what they would want to when they picked Malphite and LeBlanc with their final 2 picks. They did not get poked out. They teleported in with good flank position, and they never gave time for Team Impulse to win the fight before the fight. They fought them without getting poked down. Even Proxen is out of mana at the very start of this one, so he can't do anything. He gets bursted out immediately. Then Pyrian still thinks he can save something. It's a pretty good self-ult down, but this isn't the type of game where that's the play the Sunder needs to make, especially after his damage dealer's already died. Fang tries to do stuff on the back of the fight, but it's really not to be, and everyone on NRG can just cleanly kill pretty much everyone.
We definitely just saw how NRG's composition works. Usually there's some type of lack of follow-up, but this entire team can tunnel, Unstoppable Force, package, and even if Conquan doesn't make it, you have the Bard ult, which we saw. It actually initiated the fight, and then he magical journeyed in. So much movement here from NRG. If they get a start of the fight that they want, they will not let go.
Whoa, that was a very Graves play right there. I didn't even see it, but I can almost guarantee you he probably queued someone into a wall, auto-attacked, and ulted, and the person died. Because GBM doesn't have any extra health, only magic resist. The Dark Seal is in the Doran's Ring. We'll get that replay up as soon as the action stops.
You're 3 for 3 today. I'm just going to say yes. You're doing good.
Ghostblade as well has pretty good armor pen, and GBM has no armor items whatsoever.
It is on cooldown. We'll see
Let's
here.
see. So Q. Oh, it's going to bounce back at him. Yep. And then, where's the ult? Oh, he flashed. He didn't. Did he ult him at the start?
His
There's the ult. So that's not exactly what I thought was going to happen, but it's still effective.
That was so far off.
Yeah. The Q at least bounced back to him.
Oh, man. That's
The general concept was true. He used his abilities and killed him.
a little messy.
You know what they say about people who assume, Riv?
That's right.
Sometimes they're right, but not today.
That's exactly where I was going. All right, Moon grabbing control over Scuttle. Baron coming up in just about a minute. I don't think Rift Herald's going to be an option at this point. Just more control of the map, more wards. Where you headed, Mash picks up red buff, and it looks like they're moving some of their pink wards forward here.
And the game's still actually very close. The 2 Dragon advantage is pretty nice for Team Impulse, but it's very hard for them to actually use that as a long-term contestable objective, since whenever they funnel into a Dragon Pit, that's exactly what NRG wants, because that gives them the angles in which to start a fight.
They try.
Got about 10 seconds to kill that Rift Herald before it goes back into the void.
Not going to happen. We just had the back from Impact. By the time he walks around his teleport,
He wants it.
Oh. He's like, remember me.
A late Frost Queen's claim being built up by GBM. He just picked up a Frostfang.
Yeah.
He wants some of that extra scouting.
Just not doing anything with the ring. Forget it. It just looks pretty.
The Dark Seal. It's like, I didn't snowball yet.
It's like, I'm still waiting to steal Baron.
Woo!
That is some power. That's what we've been looking for GBM to do here. Just pop somebody out, get out of the situation. They want to be away from all this poke. That's the crowd control for Period. Goes in huge. Fangs just on the outside flanking the team. Impact's forced to use the ultimate to try and save the team, but Moon goes in, giving himself up. This is going to be the following turret as well. The claw from Period goes in. He just got himself killed, and that's not what they wanted.
Wow, so Fang really stepping up now that he's replacing Seraph. Something about these Team Impulse top laners in their first game as top lane is just super impressive. That burst at the start of the fight was way more than NRG was expecting, and they opened themselves up to Lysandre flank, and now a strong push. Fang into turret.
We haven't even seen a fight yet from Impulse right now. That's why all of this damage is kind of off the cuff. NRG was not ready for the amount they got front end bursted, and now this is going to be huge. That was a Void Rush we just saw on the screen to the right. Moon is trying to get in. Can he get the tunnel? Huge binding from Gate. They are limping away and should continue to go the same way they're going. 9-7, and Impulse just pulled the trigger.
Yeah, and now looking fairly advantaged in this game. What is it about these Team Impulse games? It's like they just hang around, and still no one is respecting their plays right here. Fang comes around on a flank with the Pink Ward, lands a huge amount of burst, then gets his Q out, which bounces back and hits 2, by the way, as Pyrion is coordinated with the engage. So a really well fought and planned fight, and a flank from Fang to get damage down on a squishy. It seemed weird that NRG, the hard engage team, was trying to siege up a turret, and they themselves got hard engaged on by a Graves Lysandre.
By the poke team.
Graves Lysandre themselves actually have insane inbuilt synergy. When Graves jungle emerged in the LPL, one of the most popular picks for it on red side is you double lock in Lysandre Graves, because they were so good together with Lysandre in a solo lane and a Graves jungler. But the same theory will hold true with Graves Lysandre in solo lanes, because Lysandre locks them down, guarantees the fact that Graves can get his full burst out, and that alone is enough to kill pretty much any champion in League of Legends. So it's still a really powerful champion synergy. And this is Graves dueling a Malphite. Oh, here comes Altec. Oh my!
Oh, wait a minute! Oh, wow! That was almost a bad situation for both Impact and Altec. Impulse is, however, going to get Baron off of this without pressure just yet.
It's post 20 minutes, so they can heal up very quickly in base, and Malphite has teleport.
That's
super dangerous call by Tip.
Bard ultimate means they can't do it anyways. It was a good chance to pull off. Pyrion goes down. Deja vu from the mid lane fight, and now Impulse is forced to run away once again. That's going to be Gate on the auto attack, falling to GBM, and now he starts to get going. NRG finds a bit of ground after they just lost 2 mid turrets.
Decisive call, but a bad call there by Team Impulse. If Fang was to win the 1v2, or at least take down 1, then maybe they can do it, but it would have to be a kill on an Impact because of that teleport that he can pull off on the Malphite, and the fact that Team Impulse doesn't have the team to kill Baron in the time of a recall from the Malphite. So really, just an overreach there. Fang looked like he was going to be a hero, win a 1v2, but then he did not, and they overreached for the Baron. That was just the proper play for NRG down the stretch. Chip forced him into it, but NRG capitalized.
Fang doing some big things back on the stage. Looks like he's feeling comfortable. Almost was in a 2v1. The team kind of botched the Dragon, or should I say Baron there for a second. With the cold lead's only 200 in favor of NRG. 10-10, 4-4 in turrets. Dragon's really the only thing that Impulse has been working with, and that's not even at a state of 5 yet. They're still looking for a few more. If NRG even grabs 1, 5 really isn't an option. It's going to be a very interesting game as it continues to pan out. Impulse has found the poke fights they want, but it seems like NRG has figured out that's all that Impulse wants. And they're going for these types of fights. GBM is continuing to push his LeBlanc to the edge here in very dangerous situations. And a lot of the time he's getting 50 to 60% of his opponent's health.
Yeah, LeBlanc, even though she is an assassin, is very much a poking assassin. If you're not punishing her with the Lissandra lockdown or a Dark Binding from Morg. And Gate is actually dangerously under-leveled. He's level 8 on Morg, even though he has a fair bit of magic resist. So GBM could one-shot him if he goes in as well. Still doesn't mean that NRG can do LeBlanc poke or GBM can do LeBlanc poke without hesitation, because he can be bursted very quickly. But that burst he's put down has created a lot of pressure, and they want to contest this Dragon 3. Fang does have teleport, but he is off pushing a wave. Here he comes.
That's going to be Dragon. Actually, Moon able to get that one, so NRG started. They receive. GBM still just on the front. He's, who can I poke? Who can I drop to 50% HP? And how fast can I do it? The team's going to back. He's going to look to maybe make somewhat of a flank, but he'll probably opt out.
Yeah, really big win there overall by NRG, actually, because they burned the teleport from Fang and still picked up the Dragon. With the minion wave that Fang had over in this top lane, that would have been a very easy turret for him to take. Graves, at this point in the game, could stand close to a turret, get all 3 shots on it, and kill it very quickly. Instead, he teleported down and tried to contest the Dragon. That failed, so they lost on both accounts, and now NRG is looking for a hard engaged flank. Here it is.
This will be great for Tip if they can win it. Bot lane's got a pretty good push on it in a minute here. This fight could really topple over into something big. NRG doing what they can to stop it. That's Impact going down. Malphite ult really not used well in this fight. Moon gets saved on that one. He gets a health hit from Conquan, and they're able to get out, but the turret may stand. We'll have to see how hard they get a push in here from Impulse. It looks like they'll be able to take it. It is going to be at least 30 more seconds on Impact. Moon is still very low, but home guards. Fang.
Yeah, the Maw is down, so we can't save him from LeBlanc burst this time. First you don't succeed, just kill him the next time when the Maw isn't up. And they're flying through with Rek'Sai.
I feel like this is what we used to see from Impulse in the earlier years. Once the fight's over, if you can start it again, you start it again. And they're starting to put pressure down onto Impulse. Moon in the right spot for a pop-up.
GBM's got an angle around the backside. He's a little bit low, so he has to be somewhat careful.
For Fang. It's a 1-2 if he can get in with the distortions. That's all he needs, but it does not look like he's going to do it. They still have a bit of crowd control from the quick Lissandra and a quick binding if it hits him, and GBM does not want to chance that. NRG with the chase. Does it result actually in more pressure? Looks like they're just going to clean up some waves for now.
They were hoping that Team Impulse would straggle a little bit running out of there, but they all stayed together, so it was too dangerous for NRG to run in for a fight. Watching this one more time, this was a Flash 2 ultimate. He did not want to miss his opportunity to get onto Mash and Fang, but the follow is just a hair slow, and the Bard ultimate actually doesn't help that much because Fang can just line up his skill shots right afterwards and still had his Maw that was able to pop later. So they return just enough damage. Impact ends up falling because he was kind of victim to all the damage, while happily Fang just sat in the stasis from Conquan's Bard ultimate. Rapid fire cannon completed on a Fang as well. This is a sometimes buy for Graves. It gives better siege for him and slightly higher upfront burst, but it doesn't offer the tankiness of something like a Sterix Gauge that you'd more likely see out of a jungle Graves.
Well, he's been that target that GBM's going for basically every time. We just saw it happen at the inner turret there. Graves' damage on the turret, pretty absurd if he can get close, so that'll give him a bit of help to get that in safely. Looking good still all around the map in a way of being even. 49K to 48.3. One good Impact Malphite ultimate could switch this game around.
Yeah, this has actually been our best game of the day. Coming into the year to think, oh man, the Team Impulse games, those are going to what's going to happen there. But this Team Impulse team continues to show up.
I'm sure the
Their
faith
expectations are real.
could be very close behind this.
Now, even if they lose this game, Team Impulse has proven they can play against pretty much anyone.
Yep.
If they have the right kind of game.
That's true. That kind of love from the community Gate is looking for is definitely on the rise with play like this. And if they can continue it through all these roster changes, that's just more confidence you have to have in them. 29 minutes coming up on the clock. We've seen a little bit of love back and forth for the Baron, but I tip when they try it, it's so hard because Conquan just throws a Bard ult onto it every time. The Tempered Fate shuts it down, and you're forced to fight, and that's not what Tip wants. So it looks like take the Baron off the docket for a while. What is the option of this poke team if they can't get an objective to hover around?
Yeah, I mean, they still have this backup of Lysandra flying in, and then Graves just trying to blow people up. It looks like with his Vamp Scepter, he's going towards either Bloodthirst or a Death Stance for his next item. I really love Death Stance on Graves, but I think the setup you're talking about is just also hard engage. Line up someone with Lysandra and just blow all the Graves spells into it, because Graves he's going to have some nerfs in the upcoming patch. Right now, his damage is just so absurd that even though he does fit in this poke composition, if you try and hard engage on a Graves and you do not kill him, he will do thousands of AoE damage to your entire team.
Right.
Which gives this flexibility in a team composition that really shouldn't belong there, and it's what's allowed Team Impulse to do so much here, since they've set up poke sieges, they've actually been engaged on fairly cleanly, and then won the fight anyway, which are things that typically don't happen, which makes this game really, really close.
Coming out strong. Yeah, first pick, All-Tech. First pick, I should say, Corki for All-Tech. And then we get the Graves and Nidalee coming in on the other side. Impulse has worked their composition quite well throughout the game, and Fang stepping back in. Not having too shabby of a game himself. 6-3-4 right now, and he could be in a bad spot. He does go down right as we talk him up.
Right as we talk about.
Right
well,
as it happens.
He did a rapid fire cannon instead of a Sterix gauge, so he was able to get bursted pretty quickly by double ultimates there from G-Beam and Impact. But the true culprit for that kill, aside from the item build, would have just been the ward coverage. They did not have the right vision on them, and now NRG is going to turn this into a Baron. Fang is also most of the damage, so this is a smart call from NRG.
Took him quite a bit to get it. A resulting fight would not have an unstoppable force from Malphite.
Gonna want to maybe steal, but it's a little bit late.
Mash, spears are on the wrong side to have it happen. Mash is going to ult through. He goes for the Q, very, very close in the attempt, but it is going to be NRG's more than happy to fight this one. Impact gets a lot of focus. The Ignite's not going to kill him, and they're going to continue. It does. They're going to continue the fight. Conquan getting hit up, Pyrian. He will lock these Zanyas up, but will also be locked up. There's the kill for All-Tech. A blue buff over to him as well, which is great for Corki, and they're going to keep going.
Are you sure you want to be farming there, Proxen? Maybe he used it for the heal because GBM is hunting right now. No, so he's not going in.
No.
Once again, smart call from NRG. They absorbed some casualties, but they knew they could go for the Baron. Actually, it was much closer than you would expect, and there was a steal chance because Proxen did go in, so that could have gotten really bad for them. One of those swingy moments, sometimes those tiny decisions can make or break the difference in a game. It ended up being much closer than they would have liked, but they made the call to go on the Baron, and luckily they were able to get it. 50-50.
See.
Yeah. Because they get the slow. Oh, the Bard ultimate. So at this point they want to burst it down, but they don't quite get it. Proxen was never in there for the smite. He failed his flash over the wall. So really the Bard ultimate is what was there to secure the Baron for them. That one was very nicely landed by Conquan. And then GBM just gets over the back. Oh. All the damage on the Mash. And Pyrian did a surprising amount of work on the backside of that fight as well to keep it close.
I feel like Bard Ultimate at Baron, that instance having is so ridiculous because everything is based off of the seconds, the moments of that fight. Baron still doing damage to somebody, or you not being able to get in the right position. If you're in the jungle, maybe you can just hop over a wall and get out, but in that instance, Conquan's ultimates have just been destructive for Impulse right now, using it very well. Still 13-13 as they just go punch for punch continuously here in this game. 2 dragons to 2, 5 turrets to 5. Can't get any closer here. Somebody's got to drop an inhibitor first and start to crack this present open.
Yeah, well, with the Baron up, that's the attempt for NRG. But they will have to be very respectful of Pyrian coming through a base gate. and getting onto GBM with Lissandro. Altec does have a QSS, which is incredibly valuable. They also have McHale's on Conquan, so even if they lock down GBM, unless they burst him very quickly with damage, he's done for. Fang could really use a little bit more magic resist. Maybe could have gone for a QSS since before that Vamp Scepter, since GBM is crushing him right now.
He also just went for the last Whisper, so not really focusing on any bit of tank. They're trying to zero out their targets immediately. NRG has been able to push the ward coverage up this far. The left side is where they might be a little dark.
Yeah.
But they still have vision to not allow at least a huge gank.
Well, they see where Graves is, so they know they can be very aggressive here, and that was great positioning by Impact to push the rest of Tip off of this. And I do really have to commend GBM, who has been counterpicked a little bit by the Lissandra and the Morgue, yet he is consistently able to distort in, not get caught, and get his damage out. It's been tremendous LeBlanc play.
He's performing at his opportune times, which seem inopportune, I should say, to Impulse. He's going in when they least expect it, and he knows the boundaries of his champion. He is pushing that LeBlanc very far to its limits this game, just to get a little bit of damage out, just to give his team that advantage that Tip can get with the poke they have, and there it is again. Onto Fang, a lot of the damage now out of the fight. Remember, the home guards are there, but Impulse, not enough time to go back. He was just waiting for the Zionist to cool down. And now we're going to get the fight. Impact goes in after that Tempered Fate, and they are just starting to lock things up in a bad spot now, taking poke over the wall, but it's delivered back once again from GBM. He goes down in the process. It's a duel.
Oh my goodness. It was looking like a pretty clean fight, but it got dicey down at the last seconds there. It ends up being a 1-for-3, so the gold lead transfers for NRG, but they do not crack the inhibitor with that Baron push, and now the Baron buff will most likely expire before they can get another push off. So a survival, actually, from Team Impulse in what looked like a very grim fight.
They tried it. Let's see. They put up the wall of defense here.
Yeah. Fang actually dashes out to start it here as Pyrion goes in, so pretty dangerous, and not sure exactly what that Bardalt was trying to accomplish since Pyrion was going to zombies afterwards anyway. But then when it's all up, Impact goes in hard with his ultimate. Mash, though, returns a fair bit of damage. Let's see. Yeah, GBM nice over the top, but you really have to respect that return damage. Point blank Graves hits him with all 3 shots. Really close game.
Really close. Oh, all these decisions being made right now pretty much mean and make or break the game. The fight coming from NRG seems to be a bit more sure of themselves. They know they have the advantage. They know they've broken a bit of a lead here with that and getting Baron. Not much off of the power play, as we said. We saw it pushing themselves a little too hard. Causes trouble. You can see moving around here. Looks like the elixir onto GBM. Altec actually just had an elixir. His wore off, so they're all trying to get that last bit of damage in. 4-0-7 for Altec. He wasn't showing up too much in his first games. Usually we'd always see Altec, even in poor performance games by the team, he would still do quite well. Now he's starting to show a little bit of what he used to bring to the table.
Yeah, no Essence Reaver in his build or Rapid Fire Cannon, so 2 of the core items that most people have been doing on Corki, he goes away from. Not a huge fan of that build, but the Voice Staff Sword Shoes is good at this point. Gate's gonna have to get back to base real quickly.
So painful. We really haven't seen LeBlanc play like this for quite a while, until you had a Zyra or something LeBlanc could always take out. GBM making it happen. Are they gonna be able to get enough damage on the turret? Almost. And now without Baron minions, they seem less reluctant to go in. They know they can get this in a few more shots, and they are pushing Impulse back.
I mean, they got the Graves ult out for wave clear. They pushed Gate back to base, but still that wasn't enough to take down the turret. They only get a few small chunks of it. And they also push Altec back as well, because he got really low after 2 Ezreal Qs to the face with the Iceborne Gauntlet and Muramana being completed. So the stall is real for Team Impulse, and at this stage in the game, if either team wins a fight straight up, they can push through to the whole base.
Yeah, 20 minutes ago. That's what we were talking about. A team may have ground now, and they win a fight at 20 minutes, and they can get a few turrets. Now you win a game with this much ground, or you win a fight, I should say, and you win the game overall. Enough time to push down these turrets here. Still level 14, actually, for Pyrion. Very interesting that he is that low on a mid laner. Does not have his level 16 third ultimate.
Yeah, the Frost Queen.
Womp womp.
This is why GBM built it later in the build instead of a Morellonomicon. Even though you have the cost efficiency, the Frost Queen's claim can literally save you the game when you don't have the proper vision coverage.
A lot of utility items being built now in the Crucible.
Ooh.
A lot of lockets.
Maw proc, that is huge for energy because GBM's going to get those cooldowns back up in just 10 seconds for his Mimic. They can start clean on this Baron and force tip to go in.
Fang's been taking a lot of that early damage, trying to check spots, taking a quick hit. It's hard to stay away from GBM, but he has to be wary of his position.
Yeah, GBN took a Baron hit and then also a Graves ultimate, so he got kind of hit for hit Fang versus GBM. But they're going to continue this pestering.
They're drawing in most fights. Why not draw in the engage? Spear goes on.
Helping him out with the Baron with the spear.
Just a little bit of assistance. They're going to pull off. It's GBM was coming back a little too slow for them to really want to take that fight all the way. He is going to be back, though, pushing up the wave. We're going to get it back here for MASH. This is some tight moments.
Some severe Baron baiting right now. MASH had to cancel his recall. He's got to stay in. Fang trying to lifesteal as much as possible in the top lane. The Baron pit against the Sandra is a very dangerous place. And that's why GBM blows him up.
Absolutely ridiculous. One after the other. GBM's been doing that the entire game to champions, and he finally reaches the 100-0 max point. Now onto Proxen. They're going to be trying to get those kills. That's a Cosmic binding onto two members of Impulse from Conquan's Bard. They're still moving on. That's another Sigil to silence out Gate, and they're going to be looking for inhibitors on this one. I think the death timers are long enough for the game.
GBM absolutely is wrecking Team Impulse. Combo after combo after combo. Pyrion unable to react to that burst right there. Altec 408, that is a 4 for 0. Just an Ezreal to hold the base. That's going to be the game, Rib.
Absolutely neck and neck down to the wire. A barn burner to end off the first day here of week 4. 40 minutes in, a 20-14 bloodbath between these teams, and it finally seems like NRG can make it to the Nexus, and they will. NRG takes down Impulse.
And when all is said and done, you do have to respect Impulse for hanging in there for 40 minutes against NRG because it was a very close game. But my God, GBM was so good this game on LeBlanc. The rest of the team still following up well with initiation. Impact, Moon, Altec always throwing in that missile on the backside of the fight.
Yeah. Super.
But that aggression from the LeBlanc.
Super explosive. To go ring as well in the start.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It was a little good at the end. It got up to 10, I guess, with the Dark Seal.
Well,
yeah, that absurd. 32,000 damage to champions for the LeBlanc, which is 15,000 more than the next closest on his team.
Wow.
So he's going to maintain that really high clip of damage per minute. 32,000 damage in a 40-minute game. Should be enough to maintain his #1 standing in the North American LCS.
Instant and constant pressure coming out of GBM the entire game. Impulse playing it very strong. We see what this team now with their roster can bring to the table, how strong Fang can be coming in. He got caught a few times, but when didn't NRG get caught a few times as well?
Sure.
Such a back and forth game.
It's true. Pyrion 2, 6, and 5 doesn't really tell the whole story of how he was able to be a playmaker on this team.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting the way that Tip used their composition. They kind of flowed in and out of the flanks to the poke to the flanks. We saw one way they came back was at that mid turret when you were talking about Pyrion going in with Fang, and they were never able to seem to find that again. Too much push, too much vision was being cleared out and warded from NRG.
And GBM just ended up getting a little bit too fed. And even though, like,
say that.
The draft was nice, but it was also heavily outplayed by GBM because the way the back and forth worked is they ended up picking the LeBlanc because they saw a lot of squishy targets, a lot of stuff that GBM can excel against. Yeah. But then with the last choice over on the side of Team Impulse, they picked Lissandra, they already had the Morgana, so they did have tools to fight back against GBM.
Yeah.
Even if he was already pre-advantaged with a lot of targets to select. So it was really going to be all about who can outplay whom, and GBM, most of the time, was the winner.
Shows a bit more, puts another champ under his belt. That will be the first LeBlanc play we get to see here. Obviously, he has played it before from what we just saw, but they move up now to 5-2. NRG still staying towards the top of the pack. Really, nobody can catch Immortals this week. So everybody's just trying to run and gun their own game and get the wins this week. They're not really shooting for anything but victories.
Yeah, Immortals moves to 7-0. NRG moves to 5-2. 2 more games for all teams, and they will have played 1 game against absolutely everyone. That'll be a really fun mid-season point we'll reach after Saturday of next week.
Yep.
And we'll get to see kind of who made it through the first round robin.
Absolutely awesome day here, week 4. Right now, we're going to end out the day. We're going to check in with Dash.